Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the start of the video. It's almost 9 o'clock. It's kind of a weird place to start the video. I'm actually at the bank getting adult things done. I just did an Orange Theory class and now I'm just waiting for the bank to open. But in today's video, I wanted to sort of reflect and give my thoughts. After 8 years of being a flight attendant, I officially stepped into year number 8 a couple weeks ago. So I want to give my honest thoughts about it, about the job so far. I get a lot of questions about the job. Do I still like it? Would I recommend it? What is it like to be a flight attendant? So I want to talk about that and just give you guys my honest feedback 8 years later. Okay, she's senior and I think I have a right to talk about it a little bit, and you already know we're gonna keep it cute, but we're gonna keep it all the way 100 in this video. Hoping in this video to give y'all, a few pearls of wisdom, a little unsolicited advice. First bit of advice that I'm going to give you today is get caffeine before a transcon. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm at Starbucks getting my tall almond milk latte with an extra shot of espresso, and then I am headed to my gate. We are going to Orange County. Second bit of advice I would give you is don't commute. Do not commute if you don't have to. I did not sleep at all last night because I was so worried that I wouldn't get to work today. Luckily, I got the one and only seat. God is so good. On the flight today to Newark, I should have had a seat before I even got to the gate, so it was totally a miracle today. I'm so happy that I didn't have to stress about it. It's been a long time since I haven't had to just completely stress about it. So we took a humongous W today. Your girl is going to work. She's getting her coins, so it's a good day. Definitely gonna need this latte today. I have an easy trip, and I pretty much decided I just want to do easy trips this month. I don't want to do too much. I don't want to strain myself. I just want to come in, go to work, and go home. So my plane should be here in just a second, and then we will get on board. We're flying actually a 737-700 today. Only 3 flight attendants on board. I'm the lead, so I'm working up front in first class by myself. It's here. I'm surprised they're taking a 737-700 to Orange County because it's such a long flight and that's such a smallish plane. Usually the 777s go on the transcons, but hey, whatever. And I only have 12 people up front in first class, so y'all pray for me, and let's get it going. And here we are, just like that, movie magic. Now we are in Orange County. Orange County, California. Y'all, it looks so pretty outside. Why am I like shielding the camera as if it has eyes? Let me shield my eyes. So this is the view. We got the palm trees. We've got where I'm going, like kind of over here. Y'all can't really see it, but I'm going over here. So yeah, didn't debrief last night. When we came in, I was absolutely exhausted. The flight, it just felt really, really long. It was only, like I said, 5.5 hours, but it was dragging. So when I got back here, I sat down and I just could not get back up. So here we are the next afternoon. It's really about 2 o'clock. I've been up for a while. So now I am finally up, ready to go. Let's go, just browse, it's payday. Let's talk about it. So I'm gonna be extremely responsible. I'm gonna go to the Nike store and I'm just gonna look. I'm not gonna buy a bunch of stuff I don't need. Actually, let's see what the weather is right now. It is 81 degrees, y'all. It's about to feel so good. Speaking of that, back to the topic at hand. One of the main things that people think about this job as a flight attendant is that it's basically just a paid vacation. Now let's talk about it. I know people don't think that we're just like vacationing the whole time, but I mean, how many times have we all heard it? Oh, I'll travel so much I might as well get paid for it, or I love to travel so I might as well get paid for it. An airline is a business. This industry, these airlines, they want to make money. They're not I just almost tripped. These airlines are here to make money. They're not here to hire a bunch of people so that they can send them on a paid vacation. It is not like that at all. Oh my God, y'all, it's the vitamin D for me. Now, it may seem like you're on a vacation when you're in beautiful Orange County, surrounded by palm trees, the sun. I mean, look at this. It feels amazing out here. But it's not like the old days where, and y'all should talk to the older flight attendants, like y'all, they used to while out, but it's not like the old days where they had week-long layovers in Paris and LA and they were like smoking cigarettes on the plane, But talk to them because they really have all the tea from back in the day. Like, the wildest stories. But nowadays, on average, if you do work at, let's say, international trip, because that's what everybody wants, you get about 24 hours in the city. And don't get me wrong, that's a good amount of time. You can do a lot in 24 hours, especially in a city you've never been to. I have bopped around Paris, Brazil, where else? I don't know if I'm supposed to be walking here. Rented a car with my crew and gone to Niagara Falls before. Just stuff like that. Going out to eat. Y'all know I just travel to eat, so that's my main thing, but that's the average of what you get. Sometimes you'll get 36 hours. Sometimes if you go on a really long flight, sometimes you'll get like maybe even 2 days, maybe even 3 days on a rare occasion. But as a junior person, you are pretty much looking at a 24-hour layover in any given city. At the most. Domestically, you can get 24 hours, a little bit more. This layover is 22 hours. For example, on this layover, I am gonna catch up on some shopping. I know that in Orange County, they have a super lit outlet mall. So I try to pick up this trip when I can, when I wanna go to the Nike store, for example. I'll go eat. And I also like to take that time to relax and just catch up on rest, because if you work a lot, or if you commute, or if you just have this job in general, it can be very hard on the body. Now, let me figure out where I'm actually going instead of just walking around talking to y'all. Really, this job is honestly what you make it. You can plan out what you're gonna do before you get to your layover, or you can just pretty much wing it when you get there and find out things to do. There's always a shuttle driver or a hotel person or people on your crew, especially, who know the tea. They know what the fun things to do are, or if you already have something in mind, like say get a trip to London, you have 24 hours, you want to go see Big Ben or something, you go see Big Ben. You figure out how to get there and you can do it in 24 hours. If you want to go ball out at the Nike store, go get something to eat and relax, you can do that too. Or if you just see some random deli out the window of your hotel room, you can just go to the deli and get some food. I went and got... Yo, I'm literally not happy. What the? Yo, seriously, lady? Oh man, maybe this was meant to be. So I went and got some food from Moe's Deli, and I got a lobster salad and the ultimate vegan sandwich and some guava juice. One of my crewmates put me on the guava couple trips ago, so why not? It's payday, right? I asked for this lobster salad to actually be in a wrap, but I think she thought I meant that I wanted my sandwich in a wrap instead of the bread that it came in, which was really good bread. So I'm a little sad right now, not gonna lie, but I was gonna go work out right after coming back from outside, so I'm hungry again. I know if I try to go to the gym before eating again, then I'll just rush through the workout, because I want it to be over, because I want to hurry up and come back and eat. So yeah, let's eat and then go get this self-care situation under control. Let's go to the gym. Cheers. Let's see what this guava is hitting on. Ooh, this is delicious, but I feel like this is like soda, and I thought it was juice. It's carbonated. I didn't know that. This has no nutrients in it at all. So this isn't, whatever. So the ultimate vegan, it has, I don't know what this is. Is this like fake meat? This does not fit the description of what was on the paper, but apparently this is a vegan sandwich. This I'm gonna save for my dinner later tonight, as we are flying over the United States of America. So had to get myself some dinner. So we got a double whammy and a lobster salad with no wrap. So I don't know what's going on. There was some miscommunication, but they were very nice. All right, just got back from the gym, had a little RX bar, and I'm just waiting for my food to heat up so I can eat again. And yeah, this is a typical long layover for me. My idea of a perfect long layover is that I get to rest a lot, I get to go work out, and I get to eat. That's like perfect for me. Throwing in a good old kiki with the crew is fun if that is an option. A lot of times everybody wants to do their own thing, but sometimes you're vibing enough where people want to hang out or whatever. But a lot of times, 90% of the time, everybody just does their own thing, which is good. I like to do my own thing, go at my own pace, and this job really teaches you how to be alone, how to appreciate solitude, and just stand on your own 2 feet, 10 toes down, walk around, go out to eat by yourself, sit down at the restaurant, chill, enjoy a nice meal, enjoy the view. Some people actually don't like long layovers. Some people really like to fly. They just want to get in, fly as many hours as they can, and then get out, get their coins, which I totally understand. When I was living in New Jersey, 10 minutes from the airport, where I started to only want to do turns because I didn't want to lay over somewhere else. I wanted to be at home. So now that I'm a commuter, I really value long layovers. There's more than ever. I want a long layover, or at least humane layovers, so that I can get my rest, you know, recharge my battery and get back to it, because you really gotta for me, I really need to recharge in order to get back out there, get on the plane, and do what I gotta do. For me, I have a big social battery, but it gets drained really quickly depending on just a bunch of different circumstances, who I'm around, what's going on. I'm a Cancer, so I feel everything. So I have to rest. That's my biggest thing. So I prioritize rest, and I also prioritize being on time, which is another really one of the most important things of this job. You better be on time, okay? You better be where you're supposed to be when it's time to be there. So I'm gonna shower real quick, eat my food. I've got about an hour until I gotta go back to the van. Y'all, look at this sunset. So pretty. Wow, camera does not do it justice. All right, y'all, it is time for me to be on time and get ready to go to the shuttle so we can go to the airport. So I'm gonna finish closing up my suitcase and everything and get down there. I've got about 8 minutes, but it's classy to be about 5 minutes early. So I'm gonna be classy today. All right, here we are again. I'm in first class on the 737-700. I've got 12 people to look after. We're just going back to Newark. I'm working up here by myself on this aircraft, so hopefully I won't be too bored. I have some coffee right here that I actually made myself in my room. So got some homemade black coffee right here. This helps me stay awake. The flight is much shorter than usual. It's only like 4 hours and 45 minutes, which is amazing because I gotta catch my commuting flight back to Charlotte right after this. So y'all wish me luck. We are commuting home on the first thing smoking after this trip is over. Y'all, don't commute. But if you do, just make sure that when you do go to work, you got yourself a good trip. Check me out. Y'all aren't gonna believe this. Actually, let's wait a minute. Let's do the room tour real quick. Y'all are not gonna believe this room. So over here we've got a little, you know, typical tea situation. We have a fridge and it is not cold. In fact, it is warm. Are you gonna open? It is warm AF, so that's quite upsetting. Got a closet. This hotel's so nice. I was expecting there to be robes, but it's okay, no robes. I'll survive. So we got the closet, nothing crazy. And this is the room. Obviously this is the bed I've been laying in for a while. Just got some stuff spread out. Got 2 beds, bag, little chair situation. But this, oh wait, wow, you slide it, okay, maybe. Oh my God, dude. It's so hot out here. I had to get my sunglasses. Y'all aren't gonna believe this. I'm gagging right now. Gagging. How crazy is this? What's this called? I forgot what this is called. I haven't played this in so long. One of these little tables. Y'all, this would be a perfect layover to have someone actually with me. We got a table right here. We even have umbrella. Y'all, I'm shook. Look at this. This is crazy. I am in Fort Myers, Florida. I got a long layover here. We're on the short layover, we just stayed at a regular hotel. So yeah, this is awesome. I am just completely shook. So I guess while I'm out here living the dream, I think this is what most people think about when they think about being a flight attendant. Layovers like this. You know, chilling by some palm trees with your own private, is this called foosball? I really can't remember. With your own private foosball table. Just chilling, living your best life on a 23-hour layover like I'm doing today. But I will tell you, this is very unusual. I have never laid over here, so I picked this up absolutely last minute, commuted in this morning, and here I am. And that is one of the beauties of this job. The flexibility that you have, especially after becoming a line holder, working your way up, getting it out the mud. Once you get it out the mud and you become a line holder, you have opportunities like this where you can pick up trips that are better and where you can trade your trips around. It's of course different at every airline. Talking about reserve, line holder situation. It's just that's a whole nother video in itself. Being in reserve and being a line holder are just two totally different worlds. When you're on reserve, at least at my airline, you're on call 24 hours a day, so you can get called at any time for a trip. You could go anywhere you don't know. Sometimes it's a good thing because reserves tend to get crazy good international trips. Sometimes you get really, you know, bottom of the barrel domestic trips, but it's a mixed bag being on reserve. But you don't have any control over your schedule. That's the main thing about it. When you're a line holder, you have control over your schedule. I know exactly what trips I'm going to work every month. I can plan my life around those trips. The main pros, in my opinion, are definitely the travel. I think that's obvious. We all know that. I was a traveler before this job, but obviously after getting this job, I've been to more places than I could have ever dreamed that I would go at this age. I always knew I would travel the world, but I didn't know I would travel to so many places so early. I've been to Australia, I've been Asia, I've been England, Ireland, Scotland, like almost every state in the United States, just all over the place, ripping and running, which y'all know that if you've been following my channel. So that's the main draw that makes people want to have this job. They want to travel the world, and that was definitely an appeal for me. I don't think any flight attendant, anyone gets this job and they're like, oh, I don't like to travel, but I guess I'll be a flight attendant. Like, duh, that's what we're all here for. We're here for the bennies, honey. Almost everybody at this job has that adventurous spirit. You know, we're all adventurers. I wanted an adventure. That's why I agreed to even try out for this job. This job literally fell in my lap. I didn't want it. I wasn't thinking about it, but I was in just I don't want to say bad place in my life, but definitely a season of transition. If you've been following me for a while, you know the story. I was working a really crappy job. I had to move back in with my dad while I was trying to find a real job, and I was just like frantic. I was just in a panic. I was like, I've got to find something else to do besides this Starbucks job because it sucks, number one. And number two, let me just say, working at Starbucks doesn't suck. Just working at that particular Starbucks that I was at sucked. Like, the people there were horrible. So I hated working there. I wasn't making any money. I went from eating steak and lobster to eating rice and beans, all like just so quick. I guess you could say I was desperate. I was thirsty, and the person I was in a relationship with suggested that I try out to be a flight attendant because one of her friends was trying to be a flight attendant. So I was like, okay, whatever. And I filled out the application. I did the interview, and I got the job. It just like boop. As fast as everything was taken away from me, that's how fast everything was restored, or so I thought. Yeah, it's just crazy thinking about how much my life has changed. I've met some of the most incredible people I have ever met in my life because of this job. Like, some of the best friends I've ever made. I've had relationships that have taught me lessons, changed my life, made me a better person, and experiences as well that have just made me just grow and have been essential to my evolution as a human being. So I definitely know I was meant to get this job, and I have no regrets, although your girl did get it out the mud. Okay, out here all alone. I'm on this bomb layover. I have 2 beds in my hotel room. It would be amazing if I had somebody here with me, but y'all, I'm chilling. I am so happy to be alone. Number one, because when I got here, I've been here for like 3 hours. When I got here, I literally took a nap. I took a nap. I said I was gonna rally. I really did, and I couldn't. I made the mistake of sitting down and eating some plantain chips, and I fell asleep for like 2 hours. So when you're with other people, then they get mad and shady when you want to nap. So perks of being alone, you get to nap and nobody is there to judge you or make you get out of the bed. But I checked to make sure to see what time the sun is setting, and the sun sets at 7:30, so I still have a little bit of time to get my life together. But this job has been a big part in why I am so comfortable being alone and really enjoy my peace, my quiet, my solitude. You will learn, hopefully, to enjoy being alone, to enjoy your own company. A lot of times you don't know the people you're working with, you just meet them that day. I just met all my crew members today. I've never met them before, never seen them before, probably won't ever see them again after this. And that's how it is. You're constantly meeting new people, and sometimes y'all vibe and hang out, but a lot of times, most of the time, everybody does their own thing and you're all chilling, doing your own thing by yourself. I know my crew member right now, she said she was out going to slide down the water slide, and she was like, oh, are you gonna go get in the water slide? I was like, no. She was like, why? And I just wanted to be like, girl, I'm not getting my hair wet. Like, you can get your hair wet and just wash it real quick and dry it real quick. If I get my hair wet, it's a whole situation, okay? Where are the black girls at? Raise your hands. Y'all, I'm not scared of the water or anything, but I don't want to get my hair wet on a layover when I still have 2 more days of this trip. You feel what I'm saying? I get in the water. I get my head all the way underneath the water. I just want to make that very clear, but I'm not doing that today. But I wanted to tell her that so bad, but I was just like, y'all know what I'm talking about. The flexibility that this job offers is unlike any other job. When I worked a normal job, I couldn't even beg to have a day off. I definitely couldn't even beg to have a weekend or a holiday off. It was just not, it was not possible. You better not have the audacity to ask for any days off. You better work until you drop dead. But here, as a line holder, it's much easier to get your schedule the way you want it, especially the more senior you go. Seniority really is everything, y'all. 8 years in, I can't pick up a, I can't pick up a freaking Athens or anything, but your girl is living the high life after what? Getting it out the mud. It's time for dinner. I feel like I'm going to bed early tonight. I don't know. I'm tired. But I got just a salad, nothing crazy, and a grouper sandwich, which looks really, really good. How amazing does this look? I'm so excited to eat. So as I was walking around, I think this is one of the few rooms at this place that actually has this awesome balcony situation. Most of the rooms just have like a little balcony like that. So I didn't know it, but I am blessed and highly favored today. So I'm about to kill this food right now. Started. Today is a long day, and I think now is a good time to get into some of the cons. Ooh, tea.
Attention all passengers traveling on flight 964 service to Naples. We had a gate change from gate 112. Your new gate of departure is gate 674.
So right now I'm waiting for my next flight. I've got about an hour until I have to be at the gate for my next flight. And this is one of the main downsides to this job. There's a lot of waiting around and a lot of time that you do not get paid for. During these sits that we have in between flights, we're not getting paid. Even when boarding begins, we're not getting paid. We only get paid for the actual flight hours. So the minute the plane landed and clicked into place in part, that was it. So we don't get paid for boarding. We don't get paid for these long sits when the flights are delayed 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hours. We're not getting paid. I've had many times where I've had to sit in the airport for over 10 hours. That doesn't happen very often, the really long sits, but for things to be delayed 2 to 5 hours and for the crew to have to sit here and wait and not get paid happens often. Not sometimes, not every now and then, it happens often. So we're just as frustrated as the passengers are when things like that happens. It's a lot of sitting around, a lot of waiting. And I would say, for example, today we are on duty for about 12 hours and we're getting paid for about 6 hours. So when you see that big old sign that tells you how much flight attendants get paid, cut it in half, and that is being generous. If we got paid for every hour on the hour that we actually work, that we're actually here on the clock, I would be in Naples on that flight that guy was just talking about. I'd be in Naples twirling and living my best life and not worrying about a thing. Speaking of money, we love a good free breakfast. I have no idea what this is. Can we get some light? Wow. Oh, bunch of things that definitely can't eat. Okay, so we got our free breakfast. We need some light. That's a little better. So we got some wheat toast. This is just what the hotel gave me. I wasn't really able to really choose. This is just their, I guess this is hot sauce, potatoes, some bacon. I have not had bacon in such a long time. Sausage, haven't had sausage in forever, and an egg. So guess I'm gonna eat this right now. It's free, so bon appetit. It is always so nice when the hotel offers free breakfast. It's rare, but we take advantage of those free breakfasts because we didn't come into this job for the money, okay? The money, let's talk about the money. So it is not good for the first few years, for a long periodically time. I definitely would not advise anyone to get into this job for the money. When you first start, you barely have enough to live. For example, most flight attendants live in crash pads when they first start because that's all they can afford. I made, I think, $20,000 my first year, $21,000 my first year, in a year of working a full flight attendant reserve schedule. I lived in a crash pad. It was about $350 a month, and that's literally all I could afford. I would make like $500 on the first paycheck, maybe $800 on the second. Like, it was bad. It was probably even less. It might have been even $18,000 my first year. It was rough, and that's just how it is. You start out not making a lot of money. There's this expectation that when you start out, you either live with family or you already have your own thing. If you're single and you're just starting out, there's pretty much this, unsaid expectation that you're going to have to either live in a crash pad unless you have family that you can stay with, unless you already have a house, or unless you already have something else going on the side to give you some extra income. But in general, starting out, if you're single, if you don't have, some sort of inheritance or family to live with, and it's just you on your own, you're probably going to have to live in a crash pad or something like that, because you literally cannot afford to pay even the cheapest rent in the hood. You can't afford to live there. Most people have a ton of roommates. In my first crash pad, I lived there for a month. I had nine other roommates, and we all lived in one hotel room, and we were all on reserve, and we all were there. If you've seen I made a video about it on my animation channel about the crash pad situation, if you have seen that. But we all had like single twin beds lined up against the walls, and that's where I lived my first month, in a motel room with 9 other people. That's literally all I could afford. Then I moved to another crash pad where there were bunk beds, and it was $350 a month, and it was also with about 9 other people. That's where I met Michael. But at least that crash pad was across the street from Chipotle and this pizza place, so I used to just eat pizza and Chipotle every other day. And I used to say, oh, well, I had pizza yesterday, so I'll be healthy and eat Chipotle today. Anyways, so then after the first year, I was able to move into an apartment with Michael. We moved into a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was, not gonna lie, it was over half my income just to pay my half of the rent for that apartment. But we couldn't take the crash pad life anymore, so we wrote down our expenses on a piece of paper. Okay, how much can we realistically afford? I don't know how we got approved for that apartment, but we got approved for the apartment. We moved in, and we had no furniture for like 3 months. We used to sit on an air mattress, and we pushed the air mattress up against the wall. We would watch Netflix off of a laptop that we would sit on a TV stand in front of the air mattress. And that was for 3 months. That's what we did. And until someone got a hole in the air mattress, and we finally had to get a couch. So I think that's a pretty typical story of most flight attendants I know, doing the crash pad thing until you can afford your own place. And then when you can't afford your own place, you have to have a roommate because you really can't afford your own place. Now, fast forward 8 years later, I'm just at the point where I can afford my own place now. And I mean, can just afford it. So 8 years in, I finally am a line holder now. I have a pretty hard line, which means I can pretty much depend on and count on the fact that I'm always going to have a line, and I'm never going to go back on reserve. It could happen, but it's probably not going to happen at this point. And just being on reserve, again, that's a whole nother topic. But being on reserve, you don't really know how much money you're going to make. You really don't know how many trips you're going to work because you're on call. So that throws another challenge into your life of just kind of instability and not really being able to count on, making a certain amount of money. Even though reserves do have a guarantee, it's still, not every reserve still gets the same paycheck. You could work more than your guarantee. On a busy month, you could work less and have less per diem. So it all just depends. But in general, if you're going to have this job, just know that you're going to be, I don't want to speak, anything over you, but you might be a little bit, things might be a little bit tight for the first, I would say, at least 5 years. So that's something you've got to be willing to deal with. And it's not always easy. And I think that that's one thing that really makes people want to quit early on, because people aren't used to being broke. Most people aren't used to being broke. Most people I know did like I did and had a job in college or since they've been 18 or had 2-3 jobs. I had never been broke before this job. Never. I worked 2 jobs from the time I was 18 and up until I got this job. It was really weird for me to only have 1 job, but never have been broke. I always had plenty of money. With this job, it was the first time I ever overdrew my bank account. It was the first time I ever broke down crying because of being so broke, like boohoo tears. It's happened more than once throughout the course of this job, just like crying because of just frustration over money. I don't want to scare you or make you think that it's always going to be like that. You will find ways to manage your money just like I did. I got a piece of paper, put it down on the table at the crash pad and wrote down how much money I would make probably at the minimum, how much I could realistically afford to spend in rent on an apartment. I got a friend, someone I knew I could live with, and we split. We went in on an apartment, and I did what I had to do. I lived in crash pads for a whole year and saved up as much money as I could. It wasn't much, but it was enough for first month's rent and what else? The deposit for the apartment that I was able to move in with Michael in year 2. So you're gonna, you might be scraping and scrimping, you might be roughing it, okay? Let me just be real. You will definitely probably be roughing it if you don't have any other source of income except for this job when you start, but you can do it. It's just gonna take some sacrifice. This job requires a lot of sacrifice. And if you're gonna make so many sacrifices, I would advise you to really, really love this job and be honest about how you feel about it and whether or not it's worth it. Do y'all like my editing blue light glasses? I look like my mom with these glasses on. As y'all can see from the video, there are definitely some pros, but there are also definitely a lot of cons. I touched on a few of them in this video. I would say that money and the pay is the reason that I personally see a lot of people quit in the beginning. They can't take it. I don't blame them. Like I said, I have cried just boo-hoo tears throughout the course of this job from the money situation. And when you're on reserve in the beginning, not only is the money not that great, but it's really hard to have a side hustle because your life is so unstable. You're on call, you don't know your schedule at all, and you can't have another like job where you like go to that job really. Even when you get a trip, it can change. Your whole life is just subject to change. So it's just a lot. So you really have to just make sure that you love this job, make sure that it's worth it. One thing that the senior mamas will tell you when you first come on is when it gets tough, and it will. This job has its ups and downs, and it will get to a point. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you will break because of how chaotic the job is, from what I can tell you and from a lot of what I can't talk about, things that go on behind the scenes. Like I said, this is a business and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that I can't even get into for obvious reasons, and it can just make you crazy. So I would advise you to take a break when you need to take a break, take time off. I'm at a point now where I take anywhere from a week off to I've taken a month or 6 weeks or a couple months off. Especially since the pandemic has started, I've had to take a couple months off here or there because my mental health is just my #1 priority. And now 8 years in, everything that I have going on outside of this job is my #1 priority. My personal life, my personal goals, my relationships, me, #1, me, I am #1 in my life, and all of that is my #1 priority. Sometimes when you're having a hard time, it's kind of hard to talk to people about it because this is a coveted job. People really, it seems like everybody wants this job, or at least they think they do because they don't know the real tea, but it looks really good from the outside looking in. They just see the pictures of you on Instagram in your bikini on somebody's beach. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They see those pictures, but they don't see that after you got back from that trip, you went back to your crash pad and slept in a bunk bed with 10 other people. They don't see that you had to stay in a hostel while you were on the beach, while you were on your vacation, because it's $12 a night and that's all you can afford. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I definitely did the hostel thing when I first started because that was the only way I could really afford to travel. I had the bennies, but I didn't have the money. So your girl was living that hostel life and it was fun. I mentioned my apartment was really expensive. I didn't have a car. I was taking the bus to work, was saving money any little way way that I could to just be able to give myself the best life that I could with what I had. What I will tell you is if you get into this job and you feel like you really don't like it, that it's not worth the sacrifice, your feelings are totally valid. Like, there's nothing, you're not crazy as much as people will tell you you're crazy because everybody wants this job because they want this job. If you feel like it's not worth the sacrifice, it's not worth your mental health, it's not worth time you're missing from your family or your relationships, or you have other things that you would like to do, then cut your losses. You know, there's like this running joke that this job can be like a toxic relationship because you invest so much time and you sacrifice so much to get this job. You go through the training, you quit your other job, you take the pay cut, and you know, sometimes it's not what you think it's going to be, and sometimes it's bad, and you might not find people around you who are willing to tell you the truth, like, hey sis, maybe you should get out now, maybe you should go quit and find something else to do. And a lot of times they have their own motives. You know, sometimes senior people won't want you to quit because the more people they have underneath them, the more senior they'll be. Sometimes your family won't want you to quit because as long as you're working, they have free flight benefits. So stay true to yourself, follow your heart. Do not sacrifice your soul to fly standby for the rest of your life. Okay, it's not worth it. In those 20-25 years that you were working a job you didn't like, you could have quit and invented the next toothpaste or something and been buying positive space tickets. Don't sacrifice your soul for Instagram likes and for standby tickets to travel. It's not worth it. Now, with that being said, if you find that you love it and you can stick it out, you can make good money with this job. When you get to top out pay, when you get to 10, 11, 12, 13 years, you can make good money. You'll have a flexible schedule. I mean, you're gonna be that girl living the high life, you know. But the longer you stay, the more flexibility you get, the better it gets, the more breaks you can take when it gets hard, because it will get hard. It just will. That's the nature of the business. But if you want to do it, you can definitely do it. Tighten that belt. All right, don't eat Chipotle every day. Cook that food. Do what you got to do. Take the bus. I would definitely advise you, if you are on reserve, just move to base, live there for as long as you need to. Just make things as easy for yourself as possible. Give yourself a fighting chance to enjoy the job. I lived in Newark, New Jersey for 5 years. The first 5 years I was on reserve. Pretty much the majority of those 5 years, especially the first 3 years, I was definitely on reserve. And just give yourself a chance. You know, don't give yourself extra obstacles. Like, I would never advise you in the first 5 years to commute or to live too far from base. Just make it easy on yourself, commit to it, and if it still doesn't work out, then cut your losses. Don't let this job suck your soul out, because it can do that. But with that being said, you can't knock why people want this job. I mean, you get to travel the world. Like I said, I have been everywhere. I've been to so many places, and it didn't matter to me whether I had to stay in a hostel or whether I stayed in a hotel. I've had so many experiences. I've got to travel with friends. You just kind of can't beat it, man. I got to experience flying in business class and first class for the first time when I got this job. So there are definitely perks for sure, but I'll leave it at that. And I will just leave you with, follow your intuition, follow your heart. If you find that it's just not worth it, you're not losing anything by walking away. Just know that. I'm not encouraging you to walk away. I'm just saying you might not find a lot of people who will tell you that, but it is okay to walk away if it is affecting your mental health. And I would say to you, no matter what, whether you're happy with the job or not, find things that you love outside of the job, whether it's a hobby, whether it's another side hustle. Just, you know, find joy outside of the job. Your priorities will change, and you will grow as a human being as time goes on. Luckily, this job, while it can be a little unstable, has the most flexibility I've seen with any job. You can finesse your way to getting some days off. You can take breaks if you need to. More because of the flexibility than even the benefits is the reason why so many of us are here. So come on over if you can take it, but if you can't take it, there's no shame in it, because baby, it's tough. It can be tough. With that being said, I'm gonna leave it right there. There's so much more I could say, but y'all, this video is getting too long, okay? Do you see the unfamiliar background? Maybe you should stay tuned for the next video and find out where I'm at. Anyways, I will see y'all very soon with another video. I hope that y'all are taking extremely good care of yourselves, and if you like the video, come on, you already know what to do. We've had this conversation over and over and over and over. So just do it, okay? and I will see y'all very soon with another video. Bye.